Hey everybody, this is Derek with Leadflow, and we like to talk about data-driven deals. And today we're going to dive in and start exploring all of the data points that you have available to you within the software to help make the best investing decision about your next property.
Okay, now that we're in the application, the first thing that we're going to do is on the left-hand side, we're going to go to lead pipes and property leads. The first thing you're going to see is our new deal alerts feature. Deal alerts allows you to save the filters that you've put in place, and we will email you every time a new property that matches your criteria is uploaded to our list. That way you can continue automating your marketing and being on top of the new leads that come into your area. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. The first thing we land on is our dynamic map and the ability to utilize some quick searches. So our map is geo-targeted to where I am. So this is giving me a radius of probably about 5 to 8 miles or so around where I currently am. We can either find leads that are near us, which is essentially going to populate this map that we're seeing right here, or we can use our search bar here to enter any specific locations that we may want to search for. Now, we've done this a long time, and because of that, we know what searches people like. That's why we've loaded our quick searches, so free and clear landlords, recent cash buyers, or motivated absentee owners. Now, what these are going to do is they are going to populate a search within the area that we're looking at based on these specific filters. So you do have these readily available if you ever do want to just jump into some of these preloaded ones. We also pull all of the most recent searches that you've done, so you can hop right back in and adjust what you've already been working on. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to type Medina, Ohio. And I'm going to select that city. So one thing that we always want to look at while we're going through our filters is how many properties we have and how many we are eliminating. So I'm going to go back to my map here. You can see that it drew a nice box here around Medina City. Over here, you're going to start to see a list of the properties with all the various information about that specific property. You can see that we have a little bit under 23,000 properties within the city of Medina. So a lot of properties. We're going to need to make it smaller. The first thing that I want to do when talking about the data that you have at your fingertips is really dive into these filters and talk about the ones that are pertinent to your investing criteria. Now, we've revamped this to make sure that everything is in one place so that you can see exactly the filters that you're working with. Anytime that we add a new filter, it's going to add it to your summary here. So the first thing that we have is we're looking at every property type. If you want to remove any of that and let's say just focus on single family here, I'm going to go ahead and simply remove these additional property types. And down here, you're going to see an update on the amount of properties that we have now after we've removed those specific people. So we lost about 1,000 properties. We're still at 21,000 here. So again, the first thing that I like to do is set our investing criteria. This is really the base information that we provide into the system. And we'll get a little bit more advanced as we go through. So I'm going to go ahead and select property features. This is also where we can select from the dropdown that we only want to target single family homes. If you have specific criteria when it comes to minimum beds or baths, maybe even square feet, you don't want anything under 1,000 square feet, we can take all of that into account right here. We can also look at things like year built. So if you are in an area where there could be potentially lead paint issues, we can make sure that we cap the oldest property at, let's say, 1990 or 1980. That way we're eliminating any potential issues that you may run into. Additionally, we have some really cool features here that focus on the amenities of the property. So if you wanted to use this in specific marketing, like let's just say you're in the South and there's not a lot of basements, and you want to focus on properties that do have that so that you can tailor your marketing material to them, you can go ahead and select that basement criteria and it's going to give you all the properties that fit that model. Now, another thing that we really find as a value here is our dynamic list stacking based on our lead types. So to access those, I'm going to go ahead and hop into my main search bar here. Again, on the left side, we're going to see some of those quick searches that you can implement, your saved searches, as well as the recent search that I just did. Over here, we have the ability to include and exclude specific people from our audiences. And another thing that we want to mention is this little toggle down here. So if I select absentee owners that are also free and clear, this number down here, 946, is showing properties that are inclusive. This means that they must match all of the tags that I'm selecting. So if I only want to focus on people that are both absentee owners and have the property free and clear, this is what I would want to select. If I wanted to do a larger search that included absentee owners and people that are free and clear, not necessarily the same criteria for every property, I can go ahead and toggle that off. Once I do that, you can see that we went from under 1,000 properties to upwards of 7,000 properties. Again, this property information is really what we want to focus on, making sure that we get your base investing criteria. Another thing that we could also check out is our owner type. So if we want to focus on just individual owners, and let's even go a little bit deeper. So we can focus on loan to value. If you want to put anything 40% to 70%, anything like that, we can do that. We can also get more dynamic with property keywords as well as days on market. So if you want to talk to people who have been sitting on the market longer than 60 or potentially 90 days, we can do that. And I did not want to move on until we talked about previous sale information. Now, this is a comment that I get a lot when we're speaking about our AI data, but if we want to remove people that have the properties that have been sold within the last 2 years or year, we want to make sure that we exclude that. So we want to make sure that we add a custom range there. And I'm going to say the oldest that I want to go back to is January 1st of 2019, so 5 years. And that's going to allow me to really hone in again on what I'm looking for. So now we have a list. We started around 25,000. We're down to just 1,000 properties that are both absentee owned, free and clear, individually owned single family properties that have a last sale date that was before 2019. So again, these are just the base features. We're going to dive into a lot more of the criteria that you have at your fingertips. Once you've found your list, all you have to do is see those results. We're going to pull them over here on the right hand side. You can either dive into them and take a look, or we can go back to our list. From this drop down here, we can either select the page or that full list. They've now been added to our My Lead section. And one thing that I also wanted to make sure that you're aware of is if you have any questions on the lead types that we offer, how we got that information, or what is compiled to create that specific lead type, we do have our FAQ and our glossary available to you at any point throughout the system. We also make it super convenient when you're in here to highlight any of the ones that are there, and you can see exactly how we've identified it and why you should marketing to it.
Now, on the next video, we're going to start diving into some of the additional tools that we have to laser in. But we wanted to make sure that you understood the true power of your data that's available to you right within the platform.